We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Emmanuel Ogbah, Miami Dolphins edge defender. Now, I feel like he's sort of been that forgotten man for the Dolphins this season. I haven't heard many people talk about him, so I think he's kind of a sleeper going into the year. He's pretty solid versus the run and as a pass rusher. Like, he doesn't really have like a major weakness to his game. Now, how will he fit into the new scheme? We'll have to see. I feel like he's a pretty versatile player. Like, he's a kind of a tweener. He can be a standing edge or hand in the dirt edge, but also slide into like a 3-4 defensive end, be like a 5 tech. He adds like valuable depth. Like, I feel like people forget he was one of the better players on the Dolphins defense like over the last couple years. And then before he got hurt in 2022, I feel like he played pretty solid, like versus the run, especially like right here. Just recognizing he's on the backside of the flow of this play. It's a 2nd and 3 situation. He's lined up, head up over a tight end as like a 6 right here. Gets off the ball pretty quickly. He has really good length, power. He knows how to use his arms, hands. He keeps his chest clean here and then just works down the line of scrimmage. Helps make this play. Shows off some lateral range. I just like Ogbah's skill set, and he's one of those players, like, yes, he's not going to start. We have, Chubb and Phillips, but when he's coming in for them, or if he's rotating, sliding in to the inside, maybe pass rushing from, like, the 5 while Chubb and Phillips are on the outside, he's an interior rusher. I just feel like he doesn't, have any drop-off to his game. He can be valuable in a lot of situations, and, you need I feel like he's a better run defender than most of our edges are, to be honest. And you need some very solid guys that can set the edge or make plays versus the run when you go light boxes for Fangio. So I'm excited to watch him play this year. I feel like, he's always been one of, those guys I really like to watch. And even though he has a high cap hit, you probably would like to move on from him. He still is a solid player. First the run again, but this time Ogbah is up on a play side defender and on the backside, and he just wins instantly. Looks like he's going to, sort of set the edge. He does a really good job of instantly just shooting up the field. Like, look at the numbers advantage. Like, this could easily be a big play rushing to the side of the field. Like, they have a 3-on-3 over here. They could easily rush this here, but Ogbah just absolutely destroys the right tackle, like, very quickly. That's Isaiah Wynn, by the way. I mean, I don't want Isaiah Wynn playing tackle, to be honest. Like, left guard, him and Eichenberg. I mean, it's not going to be, perfect either way, but Dolphins offensive line is going to look pretty bad. But he gets up the field, gets hands on. He's going to set the edge here. It looks like it, but he feels all this space open to the inside. Like, he's the force defender here, but just being instinctive, toss this guy to the side, use your length to your advantage. He has really long arms, and then, help make that tackle, force him back into help. Just no gain on the play, winning quickly with technique and some athleticism on that one. Trying to show all the different ways that he can win versus the run. This is him just truly setting this edge very well too, like using your body well, using your hands, understanding your leverage, get off the ball here pretty quickly, sort of help reset this, and like he's in control. Hand placement is good. He's lifting up this offensive lineman. He's on the outside shade of him, not going to allow this to be forced up. And you can see now he's going to come off of this as this runner tries to hit to the inside, uses that, sheds it, forces this back into Raekwon as well, and so they can both make the tackle at the point of attack. Really good play by both players, honestly, and just another example of why I really like Ogbah for this defense, especially when they need, to rotate guys in. He's a very solid player, especially as a rotational guy. It's a really impressive rep for Ogbah. Like, Bills get the completion, obviously, but he wins so fast around the edge. Like, for being a bigger guy, not known necessarily for having like the crazy athleticism bend, he can definitely win around the corner. He just has nice moves in his repertoire, knows how to use his hands. Like, he'll hit you with the cross chop. He really loves using the cross chop, 2-hand swipe, but really just sets these up nicely. You can see it really nice from this angle, just the wide rushing here. Definitely feel like they have very solid edge defenders with Phillips, Chubb, Ogbah, and then players like Andrew Van Ginkel, who's a solid player overall, and it will play a little mix of off ball. But here, just setting this up, timing hard up. You can see him combining that outside foot with that hand right there, cross chop that outside hand. You want to beat the outside hand if you're going to win to the outside, and then swipe it down, and then throw that right elbow back to open up your hips to get to the quarterback, and he wins pretty quickly there. The ball just gets out. It's a really good play from Josh Allen, but if, this is a normal play, normal quarterback, like, he wins this rep very quickly and creates pressure. Just, he can definitely, be an impactful player, both versus the run and the pass. Here now we get to see some interior pass rush. This is where I want to kind of see him playing this year when they go into, some base defense, when they're like actual 3-4 looks. Not him standing up on the outside. Have, Chubb, Phillips, and him all on the field, and allow him to, play as like a 4-eye to a 5 tech. Don't go any farther inside because he's not that type of interior player. But here he gets just a one-on-one matchup with a guard, and he can just beat those guys with athleticism, technique here too. You can see him just use his hands, his length. Look how he engages. He hand fights, and then he sort of rips underneath too. Gets this guy to overextend, and you can see him bend the lower half, corner to the quarterback, force Josh Allen to toss it out in the flat very quickly. This is what pressure can do to quarterbacks. When you win this quickly, forces quarterbacks to have to hurry things up, and then, not perfect throws, a little underthrown, and then ends up being incompleted. That's why pressure really is more like, I know people want the sacks, but pressure overall, like if you're creating a lot of pressures, it's a better indicator of how defensive, like edge, defensive tackle, how they're playing versus the pass. It's a better way to see what would translate into future sacks, because not all sacks are like equal. Sometimes you get a sack and it's like, oh, the quarterback was holding onto the ball for 5-7 seconds. It's not that impressive of a play, but getting a pressure like that, in 2 seconds, very good work from Ogbah. Another win around the edge for Ogbah versus this right tackle. Now you want to see him come down with this sack because he just misses his opportunity, but he does at least, force this back. It's a 3rd and 10 situation. This is where you definitely want to see them finish for the sack when they have the opportunity, when the ball's not thrown out too quickly. Here, just cross chop again. He loves the cross chop. He's definitely his best move. He times it up with that little hop, cross chop to the outside, corner around, swipe it down, and then, pretty good, athleticism to get to the corner here. Just want to see him, like, finish this sack. Like, he usually is pretty good with his tackling and finishing sacks. Josh Allen is kind of a different animal when it comes to the quarterback position. He's definitely one of the hardest QBs to sack because not only is he athletic to make you miss, he's, kind of built like a linebacker, like bigger than, he's basically almost the same size as Ogbah, so he's not super easy to get down. So don't blame him too much, but at least he is able to force this play to have an impact and make, Allen make a pretty dumb throw once he gets outside of the pocket. Ogbah, hand in the dirt on the outside edge here. Lots of plays versus Bills game, that really long Bills game where the defense is on the field a lot. He ends up getting held, wins around the edge again, this time going for like a rip move, just underneath. You just turn your guy, force Allen to, throw it off balance too, but the guy hooks him around. So he's been winning to the outside, but with the cross chop, here you can see how he might set this up like he's going to hop, do it again, and then just put those 2 hands out, get this guy to use his hands out so then he can rip underneath, give it a club rip, just beat the guy to the outside, get him to turn and open his hips, open those gates, and then as he's about to corner to the quarterback, he gets, hooked around the neck there, but is still able to have an impact on Josh Allen on the throwing play. Like what I see versus the run versus the pass, he just was making plays. I feel like he was kind of underrated last year because even though I feel like people thought he got hurt a lot earlier than he did, like he played like about, more than half the season and made plays when he was on the field. So I'm not like too worried about him, falling off this season. I feel like he'll still be a solid, impactful player even on his limited snaps. Ogbah just sort of bullies tight ends when they're on the outside versus him. He, gets that matchup just based on, his positioning, his alignment. And here he just resets the line of scrimmage on the outside. He's the force defender, and look how he just resets where this line of scrimmage is going to be up here, just pushing this guy 2-3 yards in the backfield. And sometimes when you do this and the rest of the line kind of gets pushed back like they are, it can create a lane, but he still is able to be disciplined, use that left arm to extend, come off, technique-wise, and it forces everyone back into forces Cook back into the help, and he still comes off of it and helps make that tackle. It only ends up picking up 3 yards, but he's able to, win as that force defender. Very, very important. Like, he will set that edge for the defense. Let's play and break down for Ogbah right here, hand in the dirt, edge defender. He gets a matchup right there with a guard, I believe, and it's nice to see this. Like, from his alignment, this is a pretty weird play how it ends up sliding up, but him getting one-on-one with versus guards, it's what I want to see, honestly. Like, I really want to see his usage end up sliding to the inside, especially on pass rushing situations, because right here he hits one-on-one with this right guard. He's able to build up some momentum, and the guy's a little late to see it coming, and just using his length and power versus guards, he can either win with athleticism or just pure power versus these guys. Like, look at the underneath. Like, this guy's lower than him, obviously, just naturally with the height, but he's still able to, boom, knock him back, force the ball out quickly because there's just pressure created on the quarterback, but you can just see what he's capable of rushing from the inside, understands how to use his hands, his length, his power, all tied it together. He can be a speed to rusher, bull rush type of player, even though we saw throughout this video he won a lot of the time by using, cross drop rips. Just has a few different moves in his bag when it comes to pass rushing skills. And then when he wins versus the run, he's a pretty versatile run defender, whether that be on the backside of plays, setting the edge, just beating guys with quickness to the inside, things like that. So just sort of the forgotten man on the Dolphins defense this year, but he's still a solid player. So definitely don't sleep on him if he is out there playing. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll get it. Peace.